What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies, and it's time for me to share my Oscar predictions. Now, I know I'm cutting it a little close just because the Oscars are literally a couple of days away, but it actually took me a little longer to put together my predictions because of how unpredictable this award season has turned out to be. Now, I definitely think there are some clear frontrunners in many of the categories, but I also think some of the categories are really close and that anything is possible. So before I jump into my predictions, if you'd like to support the channel, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Also, join the discussion, jump into the comments, and share your own Oscar picks. All right, so I'm going to get into my predictions, but before I do, just a couple things I want to mention. One, I am not going to do predictions for all the categories. I'm excluding the shorts this year just because I didn't get a chance to watch all the shorts. Now, normally I do. I watch all the shorts, all the movies, but I got so busy I didn't get to complete the shorts. So no shorts here. And honestly, that doesn't really matter that much just because those are really hard to predict. And I rarely get all of those right anyway. The other thing is when I do my predictions, I will share what I think will win and what I want to win in each of the categories. All right, we'll start off with visual effects, and I definitely think this is a really easy category to predict. And what I think will win and what I want to win are the same thing. So I have Avatar: Fire and Ash winning the Academy Award, and that's also the movie I want to win. I think of all the movies in this category, this one is the clear winner here. I don't think any of the other movies in this category have visual effects that match or surpass Avatar. You can say what you want about Avatar, the movie as a whole, whether you think it's too long, whether you think the narrative is kind of weak, but the visual effects here are outstanding. Up next, we have sound, and this is also a category where I have what I think will win and what I want to win being the same thing. And I have F1 winning the Academy Award in this category. That might surprise some people, but I thought the sound was amazing in F1. I know this is a movie that people are kind of laughing about even being nominated. Maybe not so much in this category because it's a technical category, but again, I think this is one of those where out of all the nominees in this category, F1 is the strong one. And again, it's the one I want to win as well because I really liked the movie and I thought the sound was great. I did have Sinners possibly winning in this category. I think of all the other movies in this category, I think Sinners is a very strong second. And, who knows how the Academy is going to vote. They could vote in Sinners' favor here, but I'm going with F1. Next up, we have original song. And this one I think is a really fun category because I have Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters winning this category. It's also the one I want to win. And I have my reasons. One, I really liked K-Pop Demon Hunters. It was a movie that kind of came out of nowhere and then just exploded. And the song Golden is fantastic. I think it's one of those rare songs that even though it's coming from an animated movie and it's become this really pop culture juggernaut, like it's a poppy song, it's still really good. I mean, it's a well-written song. The melody is catchy. And like I said, it's just this movie, this song has exploded. You can't really go anywhere without hearing this song. As soon as the music starts, you know exactly what the song is. And I think the Academy might recognize that. I also think this is one of those rare opportunities where what the Academy might go for also aligns with what the audience, the general audience likes. And that's rare because I feel like Academy voters tend to vote a certain way because they are within the industry, and audiences vote a different way because of just their tastes. Now, I did have I Lie to You from Sinners on here as well. And I kind of went between the two of them because I do think there is an opportunity for Sinners to win here, especially because I Lie to You is such a great song. And it's also a pivotal moment in the movie. And that whole sequence is just outstanding. But yeah, I'm going with Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Now for original score, I have Sinners winning, and I also want Sinners to win. Ludwig Göransson's score is amazing, and he just is such a great composer. And I think if he wins this one, this would be his third Academy Award, I think, which I think just speaks to his talents. I mean, he just keeps, showing just how great he is. Now, next up, we have production design. I think Frankenstein will win, and I also want Frankenstein to win. I know Frankenstein kind of had a little bit of momentum going in and then it kind of fizzled out, but I definitely think where this movie was strong was in these particular categories like production design. We're going to talk about makeup and hairstyling a little bit, but I really liked the production design in Frankenstein. I thought it was very well done and I thought it looked amazing. The same can be said about makeup and hairstyling, which I also have Frankenstein winning, and it's also what I want to win. I thought the makeup and hairstyling was done really well in this movie. Again, I think just overall, all the production was outstanding here. Same with costuming. Again, out of all the movies in those respective categories, I do think Frankenstein was the strongest. So moving on to editing, which is one of my favorite categories. I just love editing in movies. It's something I really pay attention to. I have One Battle After Another winning. I don't know, it might surprise some of you. I actually want F1 to win. I thought the editing in F1 was really, really good. I thought it was a little better than the editing in One Battle After Another, although I did like the editing in that movie. I definitely think One Battle After Another is going to win simply because it's just been doing well in that category. And also, One Battle After Another and Sinners both won the Eddie Awards from the American Cinema Editors, and F1 didn't, which is why I put One Battle After Another winning this. But like I said, if it was up to me, what I would want to win, what I would choose if I was an Academy voter, it would be F1. Now moving on to cinematography, which is another category that I really love and something that I pay really close attention to when I'm watching movies. And I have One Battle After Another winning the Academy Award. I just think that's how Academy voters are going to go overall. Now, in terms of what I want to win, it's definitely Sinners. I really like the cinematography in Sinners. It was one of the things I noted when I mentioned, Sinners being my top movie from 2025. I talked about the acting, and I also talked about the cinematography. The cinematography of this movie is gorgeous. Also, I'd be really happy if Autumn Durald Arkapaw won this because it would make history. There's nothing wrong with that. That'd be a nice little addition here. I think she would be the first female cinematographer to win in this category, to win an Oscar. So great cinematography being rewarded, plus making history. I think that would make for a really good night. So next up we have casting, the brand new award this year. And there's no precedent for this award, so I was just kind of going with my gut. I think the Academy is going to give this award to Sinners. I thought the casting in Sinners was fantastic. And plus, Sinners has been winning the ensemble awards at some of the other award ceremonies. So if you go by that, then it would definitely make sense if this movie won in this category. But like I said, it's a brand new category, so who knows how this is going to go. But yeah, I definitely think this is going to go to Sinners. Up next, we have International Feature. And I definitely think Sentimental Value is going to win. But I want The Secret Agent to win. Now, I saw all the nominees in this category, and I liked all of them. But I really, really liked The Secret Agent, more so than Sentimental Value. And I also thought Secret Agent was a stronger movie. Again, my own personal opinion. But I definitely think Sentimental Value has, I think, more broad appeal for the entire Academy voting base. And so that's why I think this was going to edge out The Secret Agent. Next, we have documentary feature, and this is another category where what I think will win matches with what I want to win, and that is The Perfect Neighbor. If you have not seen this documentary, I highly recommend you watch it. It is very, very good. One of the reasons I like this documentary so much was because of how it was told. This is a documentary that kind of breaks format, and the entire story is told through body cam footage. There's no narration, there's no talking heads. It just lets things play out. Some very sharp editing here, but yeah, just a very different approach to telling this story. And yeah, this movie really hit me. And I thought it was very, very well done. Up next, we have animated feature, and what I think will win, what I want to win, also matches. It's K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't really see another movie winning here. Maybe Zootopia 2, which might surprise people, but it is a Disney movie. It's one of Disney's strongest movies that they've had in a while. And so I could see the Academy giving it to Disney too, but I definitely think it's going to go to K-Pop Demon Hunters. Next is adapted screenplay, and I think this one is probably, I hesitate to say a lock because anything can happen, because that's what makes, this prediction thing so fun, is because you think things are going to go one way and then the ceremony happens and they go a completely different direction. But I definitely think the screenplay categories are pretty much a lock given how things have happened over this award season. I definitely think One Battle After Another will win, and it's also the one I want to win in this category. I did really like the story here. For original screenplay, I think Sinners will win. It's also the movie that I want to win. Again, Sinners was so unique and different, and a big part of that was the screenplay, the story that Ryan Coogler was telling here. It was so rich, and I definitely think it's going to be rewarded in this category. Okay, so now we're in the final stretch of my predictions, and we're getting ready for what I consider the big six, which is Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and then, of course, Best Picture. So we're going to start with Best Supporting Actor, and I have Sean Penn winning this award. I just think he has all the momentum. He's been winning in this category in the other awards. And he's definitely the front runner here. Now, in terms of who I would want to win, I would definitely love to see Delroy Lindo win this category here. I think he's a very talented actor, very underrated. He's been in the business a really long time. It'd be nice to see him recognized here. But I also think his performance was really, really good. And I think he did a lot with what little screen time he had in the movie. And I definitely think that's deserving. But yeah, I do think Sean Penn might walk away with this one. Up next, we have Best Supporting Actress, and honestly, this one was really tough to nail down because I think this one is probably one of the most unpredictable categories here, but I have Amy Madigan winning, mostly because I think she is well-respected, beloved among the Academy voters, and she won the Actor Award, which previously known as SAG. And I think that speaks volumes because there's a lot of overlap with the voting body there. Now, in terms of who I want to win, it's Wunmi Mosaku. I just really liked her performance in Sinners, and I think she did an amazing job. But for a while, I had Teyana Taylor floating around in there too, because she had won early on with the Golden Globes. Wunmi won the BAFTAs, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Next up, we have Best Actor, which again is another one that I think it's pretty hard to predict because I definitely think it's pretty much a three-person race here. So I have Michael B. Jordan winning. I think he has gained a lot of momentum in the weeks leading up to, Oscar voting concluding. And I definitely think there's a lot of people in the Academy who respect him. They admire him. They think he did a great job with Sinners, and they want to recognize that. I personally want Michael B. Jordan to win because I really enjoyed his performance. I thought he did a great job because he was playing two characters and made them very distinct. And I thought it was a very strong performance. People might point to recent controversy with Chalamet and say, oh, that probably ruined his chances. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think, honestly, it was more about his marketing strategy for Marty Supreme that maybe some people thought was just a little too much. And they kind of wrote him off in some ways. I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely think this one is a lot closer than probably a lot of people think it is. But I'm going with Jordan. Now, on the opposite end, we have Best Actress, which I think is the easiest category to predict here, probably. And I would be shocked if Jessie Buckley didn't win. That's who I have, the Academy giving the award to, and that's who I want to win, honestly. I thought her performance in Hamnet was just brilliant. And, for a while there, I did have Rose Byrne for her performance in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. But I think Buckley's performance just edges out Rose Byrne's. Up next, we have Best Director. And honestly, this one's tough. But I have Paul Thomas Anderson winning. But I want Ryan Coogler to win. I've said this already. I really enjoyed Sinners. It was my top movie of 2025. I really, really love this movie. It spoke to me in a way, and I've watched it so many times since. It's just I keep finding new things to admire about it. There's so many layers to it. And not everyone will agree with me, and that's totally fine. But I thought Ryan Coogler did an amazing job with this movie. It looked fantastic. It was well put together. And this movie has so many nominations in all those other categories. It's definitely getting recognized. And it's not possible without the director. I think the director plays a huge part in that. But on the other end, I also liked One Battle After Another. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is a fantastic director. I've enjoyed many of his movies. And, he's been in the business a while. And it's one of those things where it's like, the Academy might look at this and say, maybe it's time for Paul Thomas Anderson. And finally, we have the big category, the one that everyone sticks around for when they're watching the ceremony. And that is Best Picture. And this one was also one that was pretty hard to predict. But I have One Battle After Another winning this one. And honestly, I think, if you see the pattern here with these predictions that I've made, it has really come down to two movies. I think these are two movies that are just the front runners, and it comes down to either one of them. It's One Battle After Another and Sinners. But I think for Best Picture, this movie has the most momentum. I think this is the one that the Academy is going to go for. I want Sinners to win, as I've already said. It was my favorite movie of 2025. I absolutely love this movie, and I would love to see it win. I mean, this would be a huge win for this movie. I'm not gonna count out the possibility that it could win here. I'm not even gonna say that it would be an upset because, like I said, it's between these two movies. I think an upset would be any other movie outside of One Battle After Another and Sinners. If any other movie won Best Picture, that would be the upset. It would be the surprise. So I think it could go to either of these two movies. But I'm just thinking that the Academy is going to go for One Battle After Another. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for the Oscars. And like I said, it took me a while to put this list together because I kept switching between what I thought would win. I was pretty locked on what I wanted to win because those were just my personal picks. But trying to figure out how the Academy is going to vote is really tough. And that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what I personally think or like. It's how the Academy, which is made up of a bunch of different people from across the industry, how are they going to vote? So I kept switching. I'm like, which one I think has the most momentum? Which one has won some of the other awards that, kind of overlap with the Oscars? And it was pretty tough. I mean, like I said, it's very unpredictable this year. But those are my predictions. I'm sticking with them. We'll see how I do come Sunday when the actual ceremony takes place. What do you think will win? Do you agree or disagree with my predictions? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. So that does it for me, everyone. I'll see you next time. And as always, thanks for watching.